Okay, so I've been out of town for about a week for work, or about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks. And I'm spending today catching up on everything that I've missed in the past week or two. And when I got to The Walking Dead, I believe this is the season finale. Correct me if I'm wrong, because at the end it was talking about the season, Walking Dead will come back in February or something like that. Or maybe it's just the mid thing, I don't know. This was not the video I wanted to make today, but it was such a huge shocker about what happened at the end of this episode. I had to talk about it. As all of you know, my channel is mainly revolved around anime and whatnot. I was going to make an anime related video, but after this video, I just kind of want to kick back and enjoy my time home, and I'll be back on the JB grind tomorrow. But as of right now, I've got to talk about what happened in this episode of The Walking Dead. The past 2 seasons of Walking Dead, the Saviors saga, as I'm going to call it, ever since Negan was introduced, has been nothing but dire. There's almost been no relaxing moments, no downtime. It's always the threat of death. It's like around every corner. And this episode was just, it demolished me, man. Like, the entire episode was filled with death. A few characters that I liked, died. The woman from Oceanside, her grandmother was killed. But the most shocking death of all, if you have not seen this episode yet, make sure you click away from this video, because this is possibly one of the biggest spoilers in all of The Walking Dead so far. Carl, Rick Grimes' son, Carl Grimes, was bitten trying to save that guy he was been looking out for the past few episodes. Carl's gonna die. Rick is about to go fucking crazy. Now, I don't know if this happens in the comic. I do know that Judith died like right after she was born, way back in the prison in the comic, but I don't know if Carl died. And how I envisioned this series progressing in the future, I envisioned the last few survivors to be Rick, Michonne, Carl, and Daryl. I thought maybe in the final episode or next to it, Rick would sacrifice himself for Carl, or maybe vice versa. But I never would have thought that they would have killed off Carl this early. I mean, granted, a lot of people are predicting, and it's kind of hinting in series itself, that the series is actually getting close to its climax. It's about to end. The Walking Dead has been going on for many years. We can only get a good thing for so long, but I was not expecting Carl to die right now. I was expecting, if he did die, for it to be towards the end of the Negan confrontation. And speaking of confrontation with Negan, when Rick picked up that bat and hit Negan in the head, why didn't he use the part with the chains on it? He could have bashed Negan's head in right then, but that's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is Carl Grimes, man. Oh my God. Glenn's death was horrifying. It was graphic, it was brutal. It was one of the biggest deaths in this series so far. I would have to argue that Carl is more of a main character than Glenn was. He's Rick Grimes' son. Rick is, undisputably the main character. Like, you cannot argue that Rick is not the main character out of all the characters. And for his son, who's been there since the beginning, to get killed off like this, we didn't even see him get bit. I mean, fuck, man. This is the biggest death in The Walking Dead, in the TV show anyway, and it's history, in my opinion. How the episode was going, I had a feeling that someone big would die at the end of this episode, because there was like so many deaths leading up to the finale of this episode. For some reason, I thought it would be Ezekiel, because everyone in the kingdom was looking for him, and how he closed himself into the kingdom to let his people get away. That was pretty dope. I thought it would be him, but dude said he was going to take King Ezekiel and put him on display. Like, they was gonna make a show out of how he killed him. So I was like, okay, they're not gonna kill him right now anyway. So I was thinking, could it be Carol? I'm like, no, Carol is too badass, and it really wouldn't make much sense for her to die right now. And then when I saw Morgan coming up to the fence, I was like, man, is it going to be Morgan? Like, I had a feeling someone big was going to die, but never did Carl cross my mind, not even once. I guess it was kind of foreshadowed, because we got a lot of Carl moments in this episode about how he was ready to go down with Alexandria, and how he was talking to Rick in that flashback, talking about, you know, what's right or what's wrong or whatnot. I mean, I guess I should have seen it coming from all the Carl moments we're getting out of nowhere now, but I didn't see it. I did not see that ending coming from a mile away. When he was sitting there sick, he was obviously looking sick. Like, he looked really pale, looked really white. I thought maybe, you know, from all the explosions that he just endured, and maybe he was just tired or something. Maybe he needed some water. But when Carl lifted up his shirt and I saw those bite marks, I literally got up out of my seat and screamed, "What?" Like, seriously, that's how shocked I was. Now, a lot of you may already have known this was going to happen, especially if it did happen in the comic. I haven't read the comic, especially up to this point. Like, I've read maybe up to way back in the prison part, but I don't know what's going on. I don't know if this was taken right out from the comic, but it was a shocker to me, and I'm pretty sure it was for a lot of people out there. Now, granted, we did not see Carl die in this episode. What is he going to do? He's bitten. He's obviously dying. I highly doubt he's going to be the Ellie, you know, from The Last of Us. He's going to be immune to, you know, the walker's bite. He's going to die. We even see Rick in the preview to the next season, or whatever the preview is to, him seemingly burying Carl because he puts like a cross on a pile of dirt. So I'm just assuming, I'm just throwing it out there that I'm thinking that's Carl. So Carl's gonna die. He's not dead as of right now. But I mean, come on. What hope does he have? That's fucked up to say and fucked up to think, because I love Carl's character progression, because he was a whiny little brat in the beginning. Like, I really disliked Carl, especially because at the time when I was catching up to The Walking Dead way back when, he was responsible for the death of Dale. And I really liked Dale's character, and some of you may not even remember him because it was a while ago. You know, the older guy who got taken out by the walker that Carl was throwing rocks at when he was younger, that was stuck in mud, and the walker got pissed off and got out, and Carl ran away, and they ended up attacking Dale. That made me hate Carl for a while, but over the series, he's become more and more likable to me. He looked badass with the eye patch. He already got shot in the face, man. Come on. They did not have to do this to Carl. So at this point, there's no more speculating who's going to die at the end of this season. It's already done. It's Carl. The biggest question is, what the fuck is Rick going to do about this? How in do you think Rick is going to go the next time he sees Negan? He is looking at his son, you know, dying right in front of him. He supposedly buries him in the preview. I mean, he lost his wife. He lost his son. Rick has lost a lot. His best friend, Shane, remember that guy? Rick is about to go off the deep end. And if you remember how crazy Rick went when Lori died, just imagine him going, man, I don't even want to know what Rick is about to do. The ending of this episode just tore me up, man. Like, Alexandria is destroyed. Everyone is pretty much under the influence of the Saviors now. Like, the Saviors are winning as of this very moment. And just seeing everyone in Alexandria and some of our favorite characters in the sewers, like, you know, fucking rats, just reduced from the Alexandria homes they, you know, fought so hard to keep, to having that shit explode, and they're just in sewers, just sitting there, taking it all in. That shit is fucked up. Other things did happen in this episode, but that was by far the most shocking, and really the reason that I wanted to make this video, why I chose to make a video about The Walking Dead over anything else anime related right now. And there were some other awesome parts, like seeing Maggie finally not give a fuck. I never had a chance to talk to you guys about it, but I don't think Jesus is right bringing those people, you know, into the hilltop. I think he should have just killed them, like, honestly. And Eugene, a lot of people like Eugene, but as of right now, I do not like him, because, okay, here's why I am with Eugene. Okay, he let Gabriel and the doctor go so they can go treat Maggie or whatever. Gabriel doesn't look like he's going to make it anyway, but he did something good this episode. But it is revealed that Eugene is the main factor into the Saviors escaping their stronghold, which caused all this stuff, which, you know, caused Carl's death, which caused the kingdom falling, which caused everything that you've seen in this episode, is really Eugene's fault. Also, I want to blame Daryl and Tara and whoever else was, you know, involved in that plan to throw the truck into the building. I mean, on paper, when you first think about it, it's a good idea, but they don't know what's inside the building. They don't know how many back routes are in the building. Like, all the walkers could be like in the lower area, and then the saviors could have snuck out like the back or something. So when you really think about it, the idea wasn't that great. So I'm pretty sure that Daryl's idea to throw the truck in there really helped out Eugene find out a way to escape. And that right there is the reason all this happened. When Rick makes a plan, stick to that shit. I'm not blaming Daryl fully, because the truck isn't the only reason that they were able to escape the stronghold, the saviors, but it probably played a big part, and it probably helped, you know, herd the walkers in one place, because all the walkers already went to one place because of the truck. So it's not far-fetched to say that Eugene could have kept them in that one area, and the saviors could have snuck out the back or some shit. They still didn't show us the actual scene when they escaped, so this is pretty much all speculation. But I wish Daryl would have just stuck to the plan. I understand he wants to get it over with, but just the look on Rick's face when he saw all the walkers gone from that area, and even the trash lady that was with him, he finally got her to be on his side, and it was all for now. I'm like, okay, yeah, they're about to go in, and like it was a pretty badass scene, seeing Rick and that lady walking together up to the Savior's stronghold, only to find out that the Saviors have escaped. And when Negan pulled up to Alexandria, I was like, oh man, Eugene, come on. Like, you did good in this episode. You helped out Gabriel and the doctor and Maggie in the long run, but you killed all these other people. I'm like, fuck. This was a very, very depressing episode. It just hit me, man. Like, there was nothing good that happened to the good guys at all. Like Rick's group, you know, the kingdom, nothing good happened. The saviors completely owned in this episode. They are on top as of right now. I honestly don't know how Rick and the gang are going to get back on top of Negan right now, because Negan just, you know, asserted his dominance in a big way. Destroyed almost everyone's homes besides the hilltop. He took over the kingdom. Alexandria is destroyed, and Rick is in the sewer. He's been forced, you know, and his group has been forced to hide in a fucking sewer. Like, you know, outcasts, rejects, people that have no chance of winning. So I'm really interested in seeing what is going to happen next when we come back in. I believe it's here February. Man, this show gets better and better by the moment, but this episode was just devastating. There was no glimmer of hope anywhere. It was just tragedy after tragedy after tragedy. I'm like, God damn. And to top it all off, they had to kill Carl at the end. Carl had to get bitten. Fuck, man. But oh my God, I was expecting him to be one of the last 4 or 5. Like, if somebody would have told me Carl died in this episode before I watched it, I wouldn't have believed it. I would have thought that it was a troll or something. I'm glad I didn't get spoiled by anything like that, but I really wouldn't have believed it, because it was just obvious to me that Carl was going to be one of the last people to be there by Rick. And I don't know, man. It just hit me hard, and fuck. I need to go take a drink. I need to play some Dokkan Battle or something. I gotta go. But anyway, tell me what you guys thought. This has been jbDAuchiha. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.